Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to the Miss Lillian's page. I am Crysta from Litter to Glitter. Excuse me, I'm trying to pull up so I can see you guys' comments. Thank you for joining me. What we're going to be doing today is, if you saw last week, I put the base color, which was the seaside gray that you see on the top. And then Tuesday night, I did this blend on it. And I know last week we talked about that we were going to be doing a peacock. Excuse me, I'm trying to. Tuesday night, doing the sorry, came through my Bluetooth speaker. Hello. It's that kind of a day. It's Monday. Anyway, we discussed what we were gonna do, and now it's on the iPad. What in the Krista's been jamming this morning? Sorry. What we discussed last week was using like mulberry pie and Christmas holly leaf and boho queen and some other colors to do a really bright for this peacock inspired. And it's kind of taken a different turn. And so I am still going to be doing some peacocks on this, but also I'm going to be using a transfer by Prima on this. And so I really wanted that transfer to pop, and this is going to make it pop. So today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be adding some glaze to certain areas, some metallic glaze. And today I've chosen peach jade and some patina and also some pearl. And what we're going to be adding, those on top of this blend. I will seal it. And then tomorrow on Painting with Whiskey and Women, I will do the transfer. It'll get sealed again. Then we'll be adding some of glazes and stuff on top of that transfer after it's sealed. And then we're going to be adding some more transfers on top of that. And it's just a multi-layered. And so I just saw some comments pop up. Hey, Ann. Anna's watching. Hey, love. And Junkin' Jones gang. Chad are from Jackson, Tennessee. Hey, Chastity. So I've got a tray. You can pick these up at your dollar store. And when I'm using small projects, I love using these little trays. And I am right now, I'm just taking some of these and putting them in my tray. And make sure you give them a shaky before you put them in your tray. And like I said, you can just pick them up at the dollar store. That's where I got mine from. Or everything's a $1.25 store now. And shake it. And putting in the peach jade. Now I went down to Harbor Freight and I picked up some of these. They're the little spongy foamy pads. Love these things from Harbor Freight. Really inexpensive down there. And I've got some rags. So what I'm doing is, you see, I've kind of got my palette here. I don't want to put it up too much because my glaze will run out. But I've got my peach jade here, my peach jade here, my patina here, and the pearl over there. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be slightly dipping this in. This is the peach jade, and just deciding where I want that glaze to live. And I'm just going to be dabbing it on and giving it just some more layers on top of layers. That's the whole key to this project that I'm doing, is layers and layers and layers. And so we're going to be going over top of this with layers and layers and layers. I love pieces that are multi-layered. Tell me, do you like pieces that are multi-layered, or are you somebody? And okay, now I jumped over to some patina. Or do you like pieces that are one color? I love my multicolored pieces. I love layers. Love them. So I'm going to go back with my patina. I'm going to go right in here. And so you can see how it's just giving it a multi-layered effect and just kind of changing. It's not really changing. It's more enhancing the blending underneath. And with what we're doing here, it's really, really going to make that transfer that I put over top of it, it's really going to pop. And so I'm not going to do this whole front, this whole face in glaze just a couple of certain little areas. And then we are going to be playing some more here. And oh yeah, it's just giving it a little bit more depth, a little bit more texture. I know that the transfer that I'm using, what's it called? Sweet Dreams by Prima. And so I know the focal point is going to be in here. And so that's what I'm doing. I really want to make sure that this area. Tammy is on. Hey, Tammy. She says, love layers at times and love the simple look of a simple base color with shading and dark waxes and gilding waxes. Yes, ma'am. I like that too. There's certain pieces, depending upon the look you're going for. Now, I noticed that some people just like one or the other. That's it. They just like one or the other. It's give me everything or give me nothing. It's like they just want the clean look, the clean one color, or they love this layer. And I like going back and forth. I have some that are one color and they with the shading. And I don't use a lot of waxes. I use more glaze than waxes. I love my glazes. As y'all know, I love, love, love my glazes. So again, I'm using the patina, and these are all metallic. So this is patina, peach jade, and also pearl. And so I'm just mixing them up. I'm even mixing them. I'm using the same sponge. Let me get some of this white. Let me get some of this pearl in there. You know what? I think I want some of this pearl right in the middle. Because I am doing this layered look, you can use a sponge for each different color if you like. You can put them on in little areas. You can wipe them on as well. I'm just kind of doing this in certain areas that I want to see it pop in. And we're going to go right up here. I want some more green up here. Just to give it this right through here. So if you're wondering about the base colors, what I used was I painted the whole thing in the Seaside Gray. And then this blend over top was done in, let me put that down. This is Wisteria, Rosebuds in June, Victorian Violet. Ooh, I'm running out of hands, guys. And Sea Mist. So these are the colors that I'm using for this lovely piece. Tammy says you may have shared already, but what hardware for this pretty piece? Okay, so the hardware. This piece came originally with wooden knobs, and that's fine. The reason that I didn't blend the knobs is that I'm not sure what I'm doing with the hardware yet. It does have it does have locks on these two top drawers. It does come with the original key. I have the original key. Can you believe that? And so I haven't decided what I'm doing with the hardware yet. And so I figured that I would get all this. And since I was doing all this amazing blending, and I was going to be doing all of this other stuff to it, that by the time I blended them, it was going to be a lot different in the final selection than what I am doing now, which means that I wouldn't have blended them properly in the end because of the transfer and the glazes and everything that I'm using. So I'm probably going to switch out the hardware. That's where I'm thinking. And then that way I have that hardware ready to go if I do want to use the original hardware. If I don't want to use the original hardware, then I will have them in a natural wood ready to go in my hardware graveyard. So yes, I have a hardware graveyard. Any of my hardware that I don't use, I have in a special place, and I can use them on another project. And so that is a money saving tip right there. If you're doing a piece and you don't like the hardware, don't fret about it. Just put the hardware in a baggie, make yourself a hardware graveyard. That's what I have. I probably have several hundred sets of hardware that I can switch stuff out. And that's wonderful to become friends with other furniture artists. I'm going back to patina. And because we very often, especially locally, somebody will call me up and say, "Hey, Crysta, I'm looking for this style knob and it has to be, this size." And I've even shipped out pieces from my hardware graveyard for friends that aren't local. It's a lot easier if they're local because they could bring in the original and you can match them up for the sizing. If they're 2 hold, 1 hold, it's really easy. It's just, hey, do you have this? But if it's 2 hold, then you need to make sure that your measurements are correct. And so if someone is local to you and they're looking for a 2 hole, then you can just call each other up and say, "Hey, can you meet me here? Can I come over?" And you can swap out hardware or anything like that. So I haven't 100% decided yet on hardware. This is one of those pieces that is talking to me as we go along. And I'm using the white, the pearl, and over top of where a lot of this green is blended in the original to give it some more light. And again, this is going to get a couple of more layers before we're done. And that layering, I think, is what's going to make this piece so amazing. And we're going to go back over. Let's get some of this patina over in here. Oh, I like the shimmer to it. And what that's going to do is by adding your glaze underneath like this for this piece that I'm doing, like I said, it's going to be a lot of layers, is when I put the transfer on, it's going to, all that metallic goodness is going to be popping out from underneath the transfer. And so what I will do is after I get this glaze done, I will seal it and then I will do my transfer. And then I will seal it again because I'm going to be adding more glaze and I've got some more transfers. And so, like I said, many, many layers. So if you have any questions about anything, Miss Lillian's, please put them in the comments. I will be happy to answer your questions. I do go back. So if you're on replay, please put in hashtag replay, say hi, and tell me what you're working on. I love to know what people are working on. And so if you've been here from the beginning, you can really see how this is already starting to change a little bit in the direction that we're going. And I am sitting on the floor, guys. So it's like it's trying to scooch you in because I want to work on this side now. And originally this piece is one that we got in Tennessee. And believe it or not, we paid $40 for it and brought it back to Texas with us. And it does have the heart top on it. It is missing the mirror in the heart top, but it does have a heart top. And so I'm thinking about putting a bar in that heart top and just changing out maybe fabric or something in it. I'm not really 100% sure what I'm doing yet with that. So this piece is really kind of telling me what it wants and being kind of funky about everything. And so I'm just putting some more of my patina and some more of my peach jade in my tray. I do a little bit at a time. I don't like to add too much in mine in my palette is at once. One, because then you have to kind of scrape it off. And if there's just a little bit of dabs, you can just dab it and go. Also, anything that's unused, I don't like to put back in my bottle because you never know if there's like dirt or something or, hair because me could be a million reasons. But I don't like to put product back in the jars. So that's why I like to use my little cups and my little palettes. And so, and then we're going to go up into this corner with some of that pearl. Get more of the pearl over top of that to lighten it up. And also with these, as you're pressing and pulling off, it will give you some texture. So not only am I adding more texture, but I'm also adding more depth. So depth and texture with this. And I'm loving it. Sounds like a McDonald's commercial. I'm loving it. So, and I'm going all the way around. You know, I didn't actually think that I was really going to even use this much glaze, but I love the way that it's coming together with this metallic, knowing that it will go over top of a transfer, knowing that these are going to be little peaks and little crevices that you're going to see underneath the design. And I think that that is really going to give it some amazing texture. A great base. Let me see. Tammy says, oh, wow, the original keys. That's awesome. Dolly. Hey, Dolly. She's from Ireland. Hey, Dolly. Thanks for joining me, hon. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in. Give you a rundown since you just got on. I am adding some of the Miss Lillian's metallic glazes over top of this. Looks like kind of a cloud blend. And then I will also be adding a transfer over top of this. And so I kind of want these metallics and these colors to peek through the transfer. And so that's what I am accomplishing today. Oh, and I am back and forth on this baby. Let me get some more of that pearl in my, again, in my little palette cup, because I want some pearl right down in here. So get you guys scooching over so y'all can see. There we go. Really making an amazing base. And this will sit, I will let this sit. I know I don't have to let it sit as long as I do, but I'm going to let this sit probably overnight, well, until tomorrow evening, and then I will do the transfer on it. So I like to give my pieces time to really cure and give it time. I don't like to rush my projects, which is probably why I've got 5 of them going right now, because everyone is at a different stage. And so this is the one that's getting a lot of my attention right now because I'm loving it. Oh, this one has so far has been a lot of fun to work on. And that is why we do this. It is fun. And so I'm going to go in with a little bit more of the patina right up on this edge. See if y'all can. And then up a little bit. Just creating a bunch of cascading waves and fun. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And so these metallic glazes as well, when you layer them, gives you a whole different effect, and it is gorgeous. Never be afraid to play with your colors or to mix these products. They're a great way to really make your creativity go boom. And you can do so much with just 1 or 2 colors. Now, this one was a 4-color blend with a base of Seaside. Again, I used Sea Mist, Victorian Violet, Rosebuds in June, and Wisteria for the base. And then I'm using Patina In the metallics, I'm using patina, pearl, and peach jade. I didn't realize I pulled a bunch of P's for, yeah, all of my glazes are patina, pearl, and peach jade. Works. And just 1 or 2 colors mixed together. You don't have to mix 4 or 5 like I'm doing. But, and there you go. So on the sides of this, I did leave them the seaside gray color for now because I haven't decided what we're going to be doing on the sides of the shed. I might just want all the bling to be on the front. And so we will get that one figured out as soon as my piece decides to tell me what it wants to do. And that is another thing. A lot of times I will start projects off and I want it to be one way, or I have a vision, and then halfway through the middle of it, the piece itself will go, yeah, I don't think so, and take a completely different turn. And that's where this one went. Was I thought I was going to do it in peacock colors. And like I said, like a Bohemian Queen and Mulberry Pie. Christmas Holly Leaf is a great one that I was thinking about using on these. And then I decided to use that transfer, and it just went in a completely different direction. And so I think this, yeah, I'm going to use some more of that peach jade right up here in this area. The reason I went with lighter colors than I originally thought was that if I were to use those colors and put the transfer on, the transfer would have been absolutely consumed by those colors because the transfer itself is very vibrant. So that's when I decided that we were going to go with muted colors. These really aren't muted colors because they're gorgeous, but a more, I should say, less pigmented, not so vibrant of colors on this. That way, that transfer is going to absolutely pop. So just checking on some things. Sorry, just checking you guys' comments. Technology. Gotta love it. And then so also I'm going to pull in some of the, because I'm working at the base. Let me move you guys back and down. There you go. And so I'm going to put a little bit of the patina up this leg and get the inside of the leg so it'll match. Making sure I get up to that edge. Yeah. There you go. It has absolutely brightened that whole thing up. It has completely changed the texture and given it another layer. And with these products, you can definitely add and subtract and layer them to give you exactly what you're looking for. And so I'm going to swoop that down. There we go. Get it right up there to the top of that dresser, to that drawer. Make sure I'm getting up into the corners. And then patting it to give it some texture. That's what we're doing. And so we've got purples on top of greens, on top of pinks. And then we've got some green patina. We've got the white pearl. Anne says it reminds her of the Northern Lights. It's Fabu. It does almost give you that effect. A part of me also thinks, have you ever broken open like a, what is it, like those quartz rocks? You open them up and they have these, the geodes, and they have these amazing designs naturally in them. That's also the vibe when I walked in this morning, because you know you can look at something for a while and your eyes kind of go. And so I walked away, walked in this morning and looked at it, and it reminded me of a geode for some reason. I don't know why, but it just reminded me of a geode. And so I'm just adding a little bit. I'm just actually offloading what's still in my sponge, my applicator. And just kind of adding where I see that maybe I want just a little bit more on there. Right through there. Yeah, a little bit more texture because I know that this is going to be kind of the focal point. And so I do want to make sure that I'm adding texture in there because that's where a lot of people are going to, their eye is going to be focused once the transfer is on there. So we want to make sure that that is good. So there you go, my lovelies. Today, well, last week you saw me put the base coat on the Seaside Gray. You can go to my Litter to Glitter page. The video I did Tuesday night is how I blended this. Now we've added the metallic glaze. Tomorrow night on my Litter to Glitter page, I will be doing the transfer and then getting it sealed before next week. We'll be adding the next element from Miss Lillian's on top of that transfer. And after I get it sealed, we'll be adding some more glaze on top, unless I just get into the zone and say, you know what? I still have to work on this piece because this piece is really, it's one of the, there are pieces that you work on that you kind of like, okay, I did this, I'm good, you know, and other pieces you just kind of want to keep going on and you want to add this and you want to add that. And that is absolutely fine. It's perfect. And so if you, this is one of those pieces where I just want to keep going. And so we'll see how far I get by next week, but you can guarantee you'll see this baby again next week because there's so much more I want to do to this. So just today we went over the Miss Lillian's, the metallic glazes, and this one is patina, and then pearl and peach jade. So my lovelies, I will see you guys on Whiskey Women tomorrow night at 6 Texas time. That's 7 Eastern. And then I will be back on here next Monday for another awesome time with you guys. Thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you soon. Much love.